Okay, well, it's 1:59, and yes? Yeah, I'd like to give a reflection, but
Oh, wait.
yes. Yeah, I'd like to give a reflection, but it's 1:59, and I tried this last semester, and I was contractually told that I couldn't say anything until 2 p.m., so that's what I'll do.
Do not redo that.
Well, I'm not going to redo it because that wouldn't be interesting, but I can tell you a little bit about what happened in case anyone's curious, but it is 2 p.m., so class is officially over, so you can go if you'd like. You asked me to talk, so I'll talk. It's okay. Well, so for context, what happened last semester is that after the last lecture that I gave, I just came up and said something about, my closing thoughts. So I wanted to tell you all about, the importance of thinking about ethics in CS, and talked a little bit about how we as like college students, as a campus community, need to think about, what we're here for. And so I kind of gave thoughts on that. It's on video. I won't go over it again. But basically, right after I did it, I got in some trouble. So I don't know how much of that I can talk about. But I was told by the campus administration that what I did was inappropriate and I wasn't allowed to do it. I was also told by just people sending me mail that like I had no idea what I was talking about, that I was clueless. So I decided, you know what, I'll take some time and I'll listen to people, I'll learn, I'll have conversations. And I figured maybe I'd come back and tell you a little bit about what I learned. So I guess that's what I'll do now. But again, if you want to go, I don't take any offense. It's all good. And I will try not to waste too much of your time because it's after 2. But yeah, some of the things I learned in the past 6 months of just talking to people, having conversations, I learned that a lot of you kind of felt the same way, which was that us trying to be here and learn while there's like a genocide going on that we're all complicit in. It's not a feeling that you are alone in. So many people reached out to me and said, you're not alone in this. We're all here together. And it's really a harrowing feeling to be like, we're all here learning. And meanwhile, like 30 feet from us, there's an active protest going on that's been going on for days. So one thing I learned is that we're not alone in this. We're all in this together. Something else that I learned having talked with other faculty who reached out, other students who reached out, organizers who reached out, is that something that we don't do enough in this department, I think, is we don't talk about these issues enough. So, for example, when I tried to say anything about it, I was immediately slapped with, getting in trouble. And by not talking about it, we also allowed other things to fester. So, for example, a couple months ago, another faculty member in one of the upper division courses posted something that was pretty blatantly misogynistic, in my opinion. And it kind of opened up the question of why don't we talk about these things? And I remember seeing and reading a paper to answer the question someone asked earlier about what are you reading. I read a paper that said, well, one of the reasons why the diversity numbers in CS are so low and why we're struggling so much to keep underrepresented minorities in the department and onwards to graduation is because these are issues that we don't talk about. So one thing that I learned, and it's something that I hope that we can all apply, is that sometimes we just have to talk about these things. It's not that I need everyone to agree with what I'm saying, but I do think that having the conversations is really important. I also learned, what did I learn? I did talk with other folks, and they told me about how Google is currently funding, to your point earlier, some billion-dollar contract with the Israeli government, and they're providing cloud services, data compute services, for reasons that even the employees at Google don't really know about. They staged a protest pretty recently. A couple folks got fired from Google over it. So I learned that there are folks in our industry, in our community, who also care a lot about these issues and are doing what they think is right, which I think is good. So that's something I learned about. I also learned about, the University of California itself has investments in investment companies like BlackRock, so some of my retirement fund is currently invested in firms like that, and they have ties to weapons companies like Boeing or Lockheed or other companies that are also supplying the bombs that not only are we funding with our university investments, but also the kind of companies that some of the folks that I imagine I'm teaching are going to go on to work for. So those are all things that I learned. And what I don't know what to do with that information necessarily, but I wanted to share it with you and let you know that, in response to folks saying it's not appropriate, these are the things that I learned. So if I were to do it again, I don't know that I would, or I guess, yeah, I don't know if I were to do it again. I don't know. I was told that it was inappropriate. And the more I think about it, the more I hear about conversations being so important to maintaining diversity and inclusion in CS, and the more I hear about the fact that a lot of us feel very alone and isolated, especially folks from underrepresented minorities for whom this is like a living reality and not something that they can turn away from necessarily, really got me thinking about, is it really so inappropriate to talk about these things in class? Is it really the case that I have to wait until 2 p.m. after class is over to talk about any of this stuff? I don't know the answer to some of these things, to be honest with you. I had a lot of second thoughts before I could even say anything, which is why it's kind of late in the semester. But I figured I'd share this with you just so you know that I'm still thinking about it. I want you all to think about it. Maybe we can have some conversations together. If you want to, I can go stand outside for a little bit. Maybe we can even walk over to Sproul and talk with some of the folks there if you want to have more conversations. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I have though. Just from me personally, I want to thank everyone for sticking around, being with us for 40-something lectures and sticking all the way to the end. So yeah, all solidarity with all the students who are outside, all solidarity with the folks who are still in Gaza. And I mean, as students, as educators, we're here in a university, and every university and school in Gaza has been destroyed at this point, so they don't have an educational system. So all solidarity to those folks as well. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I hope everyone has a good rest of their semester. Free Palestine. Thanks.